All right, guys, in this troubleshooting video, we're going to talk about why your yellow triangle is not appearing when you try to close out your trade. So first, we want to try to understand what we're trying to do on this yellow triangle. So with the yellow triangle, you're basically telling the ATA that we are not actually in a trade. We are starting fresh. The ATA is going to display what the back test would have been have you been running it for the last 19 days. And during that time, you may find times that it's stuck in a trade. Remember that the concept of the ATA is super simplified as it is either in a buy looking for a sell or a sell looking for a buy. So if it's in a buy, it has to look for a sell. It cannot look for another buy. So if you're starting out fresh and you just turn it on, set your alert, you're not going to be in the proper trade. So this has to match. So we do need that yellow triangle if you are in an open trade. If the last thing you see is this green thing here, you don't necessarily need the yellow triangle. I like to do it because it kind of gives me a fresh start of where I set it up, right? So the key thing that matters on the yellow triangle is simply this area here, 110%. So if I were to put in my my year, 2023, the date here, which is the 24th, and I put in the hour. So let's just say I put 1943. We'll go a minute back and I hit close trade on chart. Remember, this is just when you want to close it. These execute it. You can see here I got a clear yellow. Now, let's play with some examples of how I would not get a yellow. So example would be is if my UTC number was off. So if I were to say have this at a 2, and I'm looking at it like this, right, it's going to move this back over this way, right? And so that time could be off. If you mistake and you type a 9 here, right, it could put it over here around the 9 o'clock, right? So if we put this back, you see how I'm just manipulating it. Now, let's say you accidentally don't pay attention to the clock and you put in a 23. Then you're going to notice that it will push this completely off of your chart and you're going to go, where's my yellow triangle? So confirm that your data is correct. We know that we have 24. We know that the time matches down here, which is 19. We know the minute is around 43, so that's fine. Doesn't have to be exact, right? We just, as long as this is after all of this, somewhere in here, and it does not throw another buy, you're totally fine, but I prefer to do it towards the end of the candles. So now that we have that set up, we do have our yellow triangle. So what's an example of how this yellow triangle would not show up? Let's say we are on the higher time frame chart accidentally. What happened to my yellow triangle? It's gone because it's waiting for the time of that particular candle to close. So if I were to wait another 3 minutes and 40 seconds, it would populate, right? So if you're using a higher time frame, what you're going to want to do is potentially push this back 5 minutes. So we can do it as 40 or we can do it as 30, but you have to do it in increments of 5 minutes. So when you do that increments of 5 minutes, you can see now it populates on that closed candle. Same rules apply for a 15-minute. Notice how it will close because we did close it on the, if you notice, we did close it on the 30 here, and so the time right now is past 45. So that 15-minute candle has already closed. If I were to put this at, let's say 46, and I were to save that, you'll see this will disappear. So that is definitely going to impact your triangle. I'm going to go back to the 1 minute where we typically trade on, and you can see we reappeared. Now, there is sometimes, not always, but when you click Heikinashi, it will have an issue throwing that yellow candle. Most of the time it will find it, but sometimes it will have a little bit of an issue with it. But the primary thing is you want to make sure you're on either Heikinashi or regular candles, and you want to focus on this area here, as this is the only thing that can impact it. Ensure your date time is right, ensure your UTC time is right, and ensure that you have the check mark closed here. If this is not your actual time zone, you can click it and change it within TradingView. This is where you want it to match. as well as in the section down here. So hope that helps you out understanding the yellow triangle, the sole purpose of the yellow triangle, and how to get it. If you have any further questions, reach us at support@botjock.com or inside of our community.